We are live. We are ready to play Baritone Ukulele. This is the day one of our intro class. Plus, we're also going to play After the Ball. And so we've got a good mixture of easy and not so easy songs to play today. Let me post a link on our website jollyrogerukulele.com. We're building a full-blown intro to baritone program over there, and it is going to be awesome when it's done. Whoops. Control Z. Control V. Shift. Highlight. Link. Enter. Edit. Settings. Open a new window. Update and update. So that'll get everybody posting in here. And we'll be able to find out if our sound is good and our lighting is good. Lighting looks okay. And then we'll get started today. We got some passionate baritone players have been coming around. A couple who thought they knew better than me are already gone, which is always nice to see. And we will be making beautiful baritone music today. What we're doing is we're starting the intro program, book one. We're starting that over today. So that means this is lesson number one of that. Sound and lighting are good. So big nose. And then in addition to the book one stuff, starting that all over again, we're also playing a song called After the Ball today, which would be out of book two. And I don't see it in my list here, so maybe I didn't open it up yet. Downloads, baritone. There it is. All right. And it's a beautiful piece of music, really. Hey, Jack, welcome in. Valerie, welcome in. Sound is good. Okay. So we're going to take a we're going to wait 1 minute and then we're going to start. So we're going to take a few minutes to cover day one baritone stuff. Okay. So in other words, the first part of the class will be about the very beginnings of how you become a baritone ukulele player, why you want to play this as opposed to any other instrument. And then we will move from that into the basics of play, right? The foundational skills that you need, and then as we get better, and as you get better, then of course those foundational skills you start to take for granted, and you're like, I don't need to know all that, but you do, and you need refreshers on foundational skills on a regular basis, because we get a little cavalier once we have some skills as to whether or not we need to revisit some of that. The bigger issue is once you can play, people ask you to teach them to play, and you really do need to have a system in place. The business that I see happen all the time is these great guitarists, they don't have a system, and so they end up with students, but they don't really necessarily know how to teach well. And so whether you know how to teach or not, you just need a program that's in place, and that's what we're building here. Let's see, who else wandered in? Valerie, Terry's back. Terry's been logging in a lot of hours with me lately, and Linda has been in. Linda, how you feeling, man? For a while there, things were you had a little bit of a rough patch there. Hope you're feeling good. Now for the fun, is what she said. All right, so let's get started on Frere Jacques for baritone. And so you want to pull up that piece of sheet music. There is, of all the instruments I teach, there has never been a time when I didn't teach Frere Jacques. It's that important. Hey, Michelina, welcome in. So Frere Jacques, the reason that you want to start with this is it allows a new player to be able to play in both of the major ways that we're going to end up asking them to play. And also, as a baritone player, not that many people even know about your instrument. And so you are sort of the ambassador for baritone ukulele, and you want to be able to get other people started well. Hey, Carol, welcome in. Carol took a couple of days off last week. So let's talk about what I talk about when I'm starting a new player. First of all, this is your baritone ukulele. It's awesome. Second of all, how do I hold it? Okay, I'm going to put this up against my body. I'm going to hold it like I love it. You want this thing here, the neck, to be over your left shoulder. You don't want it down here. Okay, so you want it up here, 45, 50, 60-degree angle, somewhere in there. You will run into players who want to play left-handed, and I've dealt with this only a few times. I've had 5 or 6 players that, yep, I'm sticking with left-handed. You should know if you are a lefty, that makes your life harder, not easier. But I do have a few lefties who are very solidly left brain, and they'll restring it with the strings opposite and then play it over here. The challenge with that is there's no sheet music written for left players. Tablature is the same for right and left-handed players. The only thing that would be different is we would take the chords and we would show the mirror image of them. Well, nobody's going to do that for you. And so you still end up having to read the chords correctly. And so if you choose to make your life harder by playing it this way, you can. But at the end of the day, we have to teach this hand certain skills and this hand certain skills. And so we don't have any choice but to teach them both. And so as a left-handed player in the beginning, we spend some time working here, and you'll have an advantage. Over time, then we have to turn to the right hand. The right-hand players have a bit of an advantage over here. The only reason I teach lefties right-handed is not because it's like the stapler or the scissors, right? The scissors are like, yeah, they're fine. Just use the regular ones. No, they weren't the same. They're way different. In ukulele, it's not different. This process of teaching this hand some stuff and this hand some stuff doesn't really matter. You got to teach them. So in the event that you find somebody who wants to learn left-handed, I've taught thousands of people, and I can count about 5 or 6 of the lefties that were like, yep, I'm absolutely playing left-handed. One of them was actually a left-handed activist. Like, she and I worked together to really figure out what the differences were, and it turns out not that much. Okay. Hey, Ray, welcome in. So we're holding the ukulele like we love it. Neck is up here. My wife sounds really loud. I don't know if she's coming through the microphone or not. She's I hope she goes back in her office. I don't know what she's doing, marching around, being all loud. Next thing is tuning. DGBE, dark, gloomy baritones explode. So your D, brief commercial announcement, you need to own a snark. That's what you need to own. If your baritone if you have any other clip-on tuner, it's the wrong one. I don't get paid to be supportive of these, but I've used every single tuner out there, and there's no question that this is the one you want to own. It's a snark, super tight, HZ. It's got the high definition screen, the high super duper computer in it, and it doesn't hardly use any batteries at all. It's very rare when I've got to replace the batteries in this one. It's funny that I'm talking about, but honestly, the number of batteries I've replaced over the years on these is very little. Clip it onto the end, turn it on. First string is a D, dark. Second string is G, gloomy. Next string is a B, and next one is E. Explode. Dark, gloomy baritones explode. Dogs grow big ears. Okay, that's what. So yours should sound D. Now, when you're in class with me, I do that for you the first time, and then it's a lot easier. But if you are on, now that we're in the virtual world, you got to be able to do that yourself. But you should also, I'm getting a reconnecting thing on my screen. Probably your sound is getting a little dicey here. It's every day during baritone class. I don't know why. But it usually comes back, so we'll hold on and try. But you got to try downloading ukulele or guitar tuner onto your phone. I use one called G Strings because I thought it was funny, but go get into the App Store, look around, find you a decent ukulele tuner or guitar tuner. They all work the same. Set it on chromatic so that you can get all of the tones, and they're okay. If a dog barks down the street, it'll throw it off, but as long as it's quiet, you can use your phone one, and it's close enough. All right, so you're in tune. You're holding it correctly. Only one rule in the entire world when it comes to ukulele and baritone. This pad of your thumb is back here on the back of the neck. It runs just like this, right along the fat part of the neck, pad of your thumb. I never see your thumb. There are no exceptions to this ever. This is where your thumb runs. Don't do this where your thumb is laying down here. Don't do this where it's wrapping up over the top. And then also don't do, I have lots of little kids who do this where their thumb will actually appear underneath their neck. You don't want to do that. Okay, we got to build this muscle up right here, and the only way to do it properly is to make sure your thumb is there. Your thumb will always be wherever your middle finger is. Your thumb will be right behind your middle finger. Okay, that's it. That's the only rule. You got to follow that rule. I should never see your thumb. Next, when you are in perfect position, your hands have no choice but to do a nice round curl. See how this nice round curl, and then my fingers are basically attacking the strings right on the ends of my fingers, and you get little calluses built up here. That's where you want them. Boom, right there. Okay, now let's play some music. You have 4 strings on your ukulele. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want them numbered the other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's not how it's done. 1 is on the bottom, 2 is here, 3 is here, and 4 is on the top. On your paper, you will see baritone melody, and you will see some 4 lines next to that, and you'll see some numbers on the top line. The top line on your paper is the bottom string on your ukulele, and what you're going to do when you get confused, you're going to hold your baritone up to the like this, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to press here, and that's why it's upside down. And so you can hold your instrument up to the paper, line it up, figure out what you're doing, and put it back. We're going to play just this one string for right now. We're going to play baritone melody line. It says you'll notice there's 4 lines. That's your 4 strings. First note is it says 0 on it, so that means open. So pluck that. Next note is a 2. Use your middle finger. Pluck that. Next note's a 4, use your pinky finger, and then the next note's a 0. Measure 2, the measures are divided up by vertical lines. Next thing is a 0, then a 2, and then a 4. Notice that I have, in the lyrics, told you which finger to use. Open, middle, pinky, open, middle, pinky, open. That's supposed to be helpful. Let's try just that first line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play that again. 1, 2, ready, play. Okay. Next line, slide down, measures 3 and 4. It's 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. 4, 5, 7. God, I know how to do this. 4, 5, 7. Index, middle, and pinky. Okay, go. 1, 2, ready, play. 4, 5, 7. 4, 5, 7. Let's do it again. 4, 5, 7. Again. 4, 5, 7. Now, when we're in a room sitting with each other and I have new players, usually this is a lot longer process. This is on YouTube, I'm just assuming you're playing perfectly out there. But a lot of times if you're working one-on-one with somebody, you have to go through that a lot of times because their fingers are all crazy. They're not quite, it takes a little while to talk your fingers into doing a new activity. Let's combine measures 1, 2, and 3, 4. So let's play of the first 2 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. Just as a mentioning, I'm just using my thumb over here on my right hand to pluck, and I'm plucking way, about here where the neck and the body come together. Somewhere in there is ideal. You get the prettiest tone there. So I'm just kind of holding on to my ukulele and doing this. If you do not have a strap on your baritone that connects up here, goes behind your neck, and connects onto a button down here, you are making an error. You really do want to strap on your ukulele, and you do want to have that exact system in place where you got a knob on the bottom, and you tie it on with a shoestring type thing up here on the top. It'll make your life so much easier. Next, the hard part of the song, measure 5. We're going to start with our ring finger, just like the lyric says, on 7. 7, then your pinky on 9, and back to your 7. middle finger on 5, index on 4, and then open. 797-540. Do it. And one more time. 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, and then notice on the measure 7 and 8, something very exciting happens. You get to use the other string. So you can play open first string, open second string, open first string, open first string, second string, first string. Okay, let's combine measures 5 through 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. Let's play the whole song. Now, when we get to measures 5 and 6, those of you with prior knowledge of the tune know we're supposed to play it twice as fast as we've been playing it. Don't do that. We're going to play it at half speed, measures 5 and 6 only. Everything else will be normal. 1, 2, from the top. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, open, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, open, first string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string. Okay, that's it. Here's your homework. Okay, you got 2 pieces of homework if you're new. Probably if you've been around a while, it wouldn't hurt you to do this too. We're going to play the melody, but we got to get it up to speed. Now, if you're in my class here in Lakewood, you got a whole week of working on it. You guys have one night, okay? Tomorrow we're going to play this at full speed. Let me play it at full speed. You'll know 797-540 has to be twice as fast as we've been playing it. So to accomplish that, I'm going to slow down the rest of the song just a little bit so that it's a little easier to play 797-540. And those of you guys that have been around a while, I'm anticipating you'll play along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we're after. Sounds really pretty. Now, by doing that, you don't have to sing. You can just play the melody, and your singing is completely optional, which is what most of you want. 80% of you want that. 20% of you are like, no, I have a good singing voice. I want to sing. If that's you, you're going to play chords, and we're all going to learn to do that. So on the chords, you'll see on every measure right at the beginning, there's a little grid and an E. And that means you're going to play E chord on every measure. So with those grids, they're propped up on end, and you can tell that because there's this dark heavy band at the top of them, and that's the nut. Okay, and then there's a big E on top of that. 2 dots. 1 dot is right here, and 1 dot is right here, and those are the 2 fingers you're going to use: index finger and middle finger. By the way, if you are working with somebody and they are a new player, it's very common for them to get this one like this, upside down. Okay, so just be aware of that you want to help them learn to read the chord grids so that they get their fingers in the correct positions. Okay, and usually that part comes together. That you don't have to spend too much time on that. The tablature, reading the tablature to play melody, usually takes people 2 to 3 weeks before their eyeballs turn it upside down correctly. And so those are skills you actually have to be patient and teach. Okay, so there's your E chord. Okay, get yourself in playing position. The thing that's important here is on the far upper left-hand corner, it says 4/4. That means 4 beats in every measure, and we're going to strum 4 times in every measure. Remember, the measures are divided up by vertical lines, and on this song you have 8 measures, so it means you're going to strum 4 times, 8 times in a row. Okay, and when I strum where the neck and the body come together, you're going to get the prettiest sound there. Together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Frere, Jacques, Frere, Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, strum, ding, ding, dong. Again, are you sleeping, are you sleeping, Brother John, Brother John? Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Okay, if you can get 2 baritone players in the same room at the same time, it's fun for one person to strum and the other person to pluck the melody. Okay, we're going to do that right now. You're going to do the strumming, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to keep strumming 4 for every measure. I'm going to play the melody. 1, 2, ready, play. Did I keep up with the correct beat? Were you finding yourself strumming and me plucking about the same moments? It turns out to be quite a bit harder than you'd think. And for those of you guys that don't already know, the Monday night sessions that we do at Jolly Roger Ukulele includes a baritone line so that you can get more practice doing that. Well, I want all of the players that I work with to become bulletproof in an orchestral situation. So in other words, you're playing along, your melody is just diving along, everything's going great. All of a sudden you miss a note. I want to get your brain where it's like, whatever, and move on to the next note and not think, oh, I made a mistake. I have to stop and give up and go do a different hobby. That's what we work on Monday nights, is just getting you where you can play fast. And when you make a mistake, you don't care because you don't have time because you're moving on. That's what the Monday night ensemble is very important. And baritone players, you guys will almost always be playing in an ensemble situation because you end up, basically, you're the cello of any ukulele band. They really, really want you because you got this nice, deep, dark tone. But you also need to be in a situation where you need to be able to play everything both ways, okay? And you're also going to have to transpose. So as baritone players, you're going to have to be a little bit smarter in terms of how music works, because you're going to need to know how to play melody. You're going to need to know how to play all your chords. You're also going to need to know how to play the ukulele chords because you're likely to be hanging out with them. And so we teach all that stuff both ways. Now, you have now studied your chords and you have studied your melody. Tonight, if you are new, that's your job. Get that thing up to speed. And don't forget, on the website, there is, over on the right-hand side, a few widgets down, there's a MP3 player that has all of the songs in the entire program on it. And your baritone songs, you got to click. There's 2 Frere Jacques, one for ukulele, one for baritone. Click that. Listen to this a few times while you're reading your sheet music. Get a sense of how it goes. And you can even try playing along with the MP3. That will make you also bulletproof as playing along with MP3s because they don't stop either. And just a useful, helpful tool. All right, unless there are questions, we're going to move on. That is Frere Jacques for the day. And again, that's for those of you that are newer and you're just making sure you're getting everything locked and loaded and ready to go. I will emphasize again, almost everything that you need to know in music is on this one piece of paper. Almost. There's the 2 things that are not on here. There's no chord changing. Okay, changing from E to a different chord and back to E. So that's not on here. We do have to work on that, and we will work on that tomorrow. The other thing that's not on here is when we combine melody and chords in various ways, and so that's not here either. And that's we start working on that on Friday, I think. I think we work on, is it Friday or is it next week? Let me double check. Nope, it's first of next week we work on that. So that's the important one. That's when you become a solo player, and I read about you in the newspaper. That's what we're going to get you to. All right. The silence is deafening, guys. We're going to move on, and again, for new players, this is plenty. This is all you want. For those of you who've been around a while and you're feeling like, yep, I got my oats up, I'm ready to roll. We're going to move on to after the ball. And what I decided, guys, was that for those of you in the intro classes, book 1 and book 2, we're combining those. I think I'm going to pull 2 songs out of book 2 each week, and that way you have an opportunity to get 2 songs really going well. The 2 songs this week are actually not terribly difficult, but they're both really beautiful, and they're really got a good set of skills for you to work on. And so I want to talk about After the Ball, and let's get into all of the pieces and parts of this that you would be working on. For those of you who are brand new, we're going to run this song 3 different ways. For those of you who've been around a while, you know the 3 ways already. Okay, so let's talk about C chord. You got to know this one. Okay. That's going to go to F chord. As always, I'd rather you do a full bar with the A shape in front, but most of us do a half bar with the A shape in front. Okay. That's the other next chord. F chord's coming up as part of your life. If you are newer and it's that's how you play it for now, eventually your thumb will get strong enough where you can clean up that messy sound. See G7 at measure 7. You're going to be playing this D minor at measure 9. It's a great chord on baritone. We've got an A7 at measure 11. Okay. We have, that's all everybody on page 1. There's a couple others on page 2. Let me get over there. Page 2. How come my page turner isn't working properly? Page measure 22, you have this A7. It's a bar and a middle finger here. And probably at this point you've run into it already, but there's A7 and this A7. They're different shapes. This one's a much better A7 than this one, but they both serve the same purpose. And so sometimes, depending on what's going on in the tough uke, I'll either use this one or this one. And then a D7, index, middle ring. And that is all of the chords. Okay, so quite a decent number of chords. They're really nice chords, though. All right. Next, then, let's see. Hey, Arlo, welcome in. Glad you're here, bud. All right, so we're going to run through the chords. I get to sing when we do chords, which is never a good thing. But your job is to not be judging my singing. Your job is to make sure that you're getting 3 beats. We know that because if you go to the upper left-hand corner, we're in 3/4. 3 beats for each chord. I'm going to recommend, because of another piece of the puzzle we have to put together, that you don't give me 1, 2, 3. It would sound fine. It's absolutely fine. I want you to take these 4 fingers, grab 4 strings. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to use the claw position because when we get to tough uke, you're going to be like, oh, okay, now I see why you made us do that. Okay, so grab your C chord, grab your claw, 3 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3. After the ball is over, after the break of dawn, after the dancers leaving, after the stars are gone, immediately going to turn around and get going again. So you don't want to wait dilly-dally in measure 31. You're supposed to turn around and get right back up there. The original song, the verses are dumb as all get out, but the chorus is beautiful, and the chorus keeps coming up over and over and over. And on a song like this, you can put in these nice big turnarounds and stuff, and it sounds lovely. But part of the instructional phase of this piece of music is, in this case, measure 31, I got to play ball, 2, 3, after the ball, and really just turn around and get back into playing. So a lot of times we'll do a turnaround where we go from chord to chord to chord to chord to chord and then back. In this case, finish last chord, boom, back, get started again. Okay, so there's your chords. Hopefully those are going just fine for you. Nothing too brutal in there, but except the F chord, and F chord's gonna eventually come around and be awesome. Next, we play the melody, and I want you to play along with me. Those of you who are brand new, this is where Frere Jacques comes in and tells you what fret and what string to pluck. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3, oh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3. Oh, 3, oh, 1, 2, oh, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 5, 1, oh. 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. 3, oh, 3, oh. Oh, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, oh, 3, oh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 2, 2, oh, 5, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, oh, 1, oh, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, oh, 1, 2, 3, go for the second time around. Okay, again, don't dilly-dally. At the end, you want to turn right around and get going. And of course, the second time you come through, you're going to skip that measure 31 and play 32 and 33. Probably at some point in my life, I will add in a more fancy turnaround, but that's not the instructional thing here, right? It's to turn around and get going again. Now, let's talk about the tough section. And again, for those of you that are newer, the tough is that it's named that way on purpose. Okay, so guys, if you are tough players, the first time we're going to play through it twice. Okay, first time with your finger or your thumb down strums. Second time with your claw. Okay, I would grab 4, 3, 2, 1. I grab everything. If you find out, oh, tough is too tough for me at the moment, you switch over to melody. Okay. And so anytime that you're getting in a pickle, just go up, play the melody, and then drop back down into tough uke when you are able. And that may not be for you quite yet. Okay, we'll play through it twice, any way you can. But if you are a tough uker, thumb the first time, claw the second time. 1, 2, 3. to the top. That's our plan. Okay, so you've got a nice piece of music. If you are book 2 type people, this is what you're going to work on tonight. Tomorrow, we will dig out the Alouetta, which is there. Again, same set of skill patterns. I need you to be able to strum it, pluck it, or play it with the chords, play it with the melody. We need the whole thing there. And again, when we're talking about book 2 stuff, our real goal is just to get you continuously comfortable playing the more, not the more advanced repertoire, but just to be able to take a piece of paper and turn it into music. And so it doesn't really matter what the advanced level. There's no such thing as advanced ukulele, but there are songs that are more difficult and songs that are easier based on whatever's inside of it and the arrangement and so on. And so I want to, for those of you guys that are book 2, a lot of times it's just practicing and just getting a little bit of playing with me type of thing to get you feeling comfortable with weird stuff that shows up there. That's all I got for you today. If you are new, please work on Frere, Jacques until you're purple. It is the foundation on which we build the entire empire. Okay, and so there's nothing more important in all of the pieces of music that I teach than Frere, Jacques. Then, of course, if something doesn't look right or whatever, send me an email. I'm always a million behind on email, 136 unopened, but I do get to them eventually. And so send me a note about what's going well and what's not going well for you. Tanya says, would you please play measure 9? How do you move your fingers to reach the 5? Okay, so great question. You bet, Terry. Let's talk about, let's go grab, thank you, Tanya. That's I love it when there's questions, right? So let me pull it back up. I already shut it down. What was I thinking? Baritone after the ball. So Tanya's question is, we get to measure 9, and I got a 5 in there. Okay. Now here's the thing, guys, and I'm just cruise through it because I've been doing this forever and it's no big deal. But can you do this? Do this for me. Take your front hand. Do this. Not so problematic, right? Do this. Not so problematic. Used to these 2 are fingers that are really comfy, doing their own thing. Do this. That's a lot harder to do, right? Remember, those of us from the 70s, we had to learn Mr. Spock. Here's the tough one. That. Because what normally happens is that normally our ring finger wants to come along for the ride, right? So when you are not playing in your instrument, you're hanging around, this. Thanks, Linda. Have a good night. Thanks, Valerie. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, get that used to. Then at measure 9, you've got this D minor you got to get on, right? So you're coming out of 8. You're going to put that D minor on. And yeah, your pinky's going to reach way out there to get that. And then, so you've got the D minor on. That doesn't change. After the and then jump to your C. Ball. So what I'm thinking about when I see something like that is index finger, D minor, pinky, D minor, C. That to me, it may take a while before your pinky will go out there. If you get to a situation like that and your pinky only goes to here, you may have to, right, which causes a lot more likelihood of a mistake, but you may not have a choice. You got to get that 5 somehow. And a lot of times, if you've abandoned your chord, just abandon it. 5, 1, C chord. That's the short-term fix on that. The long-term fix is just get where you can make that shape. That is going to come up D minor with your pinky on 5. We do it quite often. I make the guitar players do it too, and it's even farther reach for those guys, but not often. Usually we will go ahead and refinger it up here, but there's other choices, but that's not this situation since you only have that one note. Okay, so that's hopefully helpful, Tanya. It's not exactly a perfect solution because sometimes your hands just don't reach that far. But I do think if you're sitting around the house, this is a great exercise to get to now don't push on it or don't ever give your hands counterbalanced measures because you can injure yourself, but just hanging out by itself, doing your thing. I'm always amazed. After I've been playing ukulele for an hour or two, now I usually do it pretty good. But if you are not warmed up, inevitably your ring finger's like, what? Wait, where am I supposed to be? And he'll do his own thing. So there's that. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. All right, guys, I will see all of you tomorrow, or many of you may want to check out tonight for orchestra. It is a weird activity that we're doing, but I do know that it'll make you stronger and tougher, and I will see all of you guys then. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, Lanny.